What's up, babe?
What's up, babe?
How you doing?
Good.
We did it. We here.
Right.
I think the devil be trying to
First of all,
when it come down to us trying to do our podcast.
because it feel
Why
like that.
we did it
feel
yet?
like every
Why?
time
Why
we
was
try
taking us so
to
long?
get this podcast started, it's just been something which lets me know that this is meant for us to do this. But
Yes.
quick disclaimer, allergy symptoms is doing the most right now, so I might sound a little stuffy, but that's okay.
And again, we just kind of just do this together just to do it. I got the equipment, we got the vibe, so here we are, right in our beautiful backyard of our brand new home. Hey, homeowners, baby, what's up, baby? Yeah, so here we go. We just gonna ask each other a few questions, and we're gonna ask each other a few questions, and just have fun with it. So I'll start off first, I guess.
Okay. I just was trying to
Should I go in order or should I
turn
just
this
I can just
crazy
do it?
off.
Nah, let me go in
do it
order.
right now. Yeah, okay, yeah. Go
All right. What was your favorite date night when we first dated?
When we first dated?
Yeah. When we first started dating, what was your favorite date night?
You sure you want me to answer that?
Yeah, man. Hey, just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Our
Don't
first
OD.
date night.
Don't OD.
Okay, I got one. What comedy show was that we went
Mike
to?
Epps
When we went to the Mike Epps show.
at the auditorium.
I'll never forget. I went for me a nice dress. I did a little something to my hair.
Yeah.
You went by my mom's house. Was that the first time you actually met my mom?
Yep.
That was the first time you met my mom.
Yeah.
And you was suited and booted up.
Yeah.
And after that, we went to Liquid.
That was the date. We went to the comedy show and then went to St. Paul.
That was fun.
That's funny.
Like, that was fun. We was, we was dating. But I just remember that moment we was in the car, we was taking all the pictures. It was really a fun memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, go ahead.
Okay. What do you love? I'm skipping this part because we didn't do no honeymoon. What do you love most about me? We didn't, because we got married on a Bible study.
Yeah, we ain't gonna get into all that. We did.
First of all,
I mean, that was a great thing, but that wasn't the context of the question. Go ahead.
anyways, okay. What do you love most about me?
Oh,
Yeah.
what do I love?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Yeah.
What that mean?
Yeah.
What do I love most about you? I love the way you love me.
Boy, this question better be easy to answer, because if they gonna see you get slapped right on camera.
Oh, I didn't prepare for this or nothing. But nah, no, seriously. What do I love most about you? I love the way you are, and I mean, it could sound bland or whatever, but it's the truth. I love the way you are a mother to my children. And I say that because you really are, the definition of what a mother is supposed to be, and how a mother is supposed to move, the sacrifices you make for our kids, the dedication you have just to their lives, the commitment, just everything that requires you to be a real mother. You are by far well equipped to be that. You know what I'm saying? You are what a mother is supposed to be. If you look in a dictionary and there was a picture of mother, it'd be you looking like this. You know what I'm saying? But especially when I met you, and I brought my little 13-month-old daughter over in a car seat. You know what I'm saying? Most women, you meet a dude and he got my daughter about as fresh as a pair of white ups, brand new. She brand new. You know what I'm saying? She brand new. And, at first you like, oh, but, I don't know what it is you saw in me and what was probably how I was moving as far as being a father to my daughter. You're like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. And here we are 8 years later. So how you are a mother to my children.
Okay. I like
Oh,
that.
all right, my turn.
Yeah.
You skipped you skipped
I
something?
skipped the honeymoon one.
Oh, so what number was that? I can't find that.
That was 3. So
Okay,
now
all right. If you could plan Okay, if you could plan a dream date night, what would it involve? Oh my.
X-rated.
Okay.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
You gotta go.
Hey, we married. Anyways, okay, dream date night. So first of all, it is definitely gonna involve food because I love that.
Absolutely.
But I think, we, get dressed up real nice, go get some dinner, preferably Delmonico's.
Now I don't want to mess up your dream date night, but keep in mind this is a dream date night. Like
dream
this is
date
it says
night. Right. Dream date night.
Yeah, a dream.
Well, first of all, we will not be in the country.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Let's start there.
And we talk about a date, that's fire.
We talking about like somewhere in the tropical islands like Jamaica or Hawaii. Ooh, Hawaii. We've been to Jamaica before, so Hawaii.
Trinidad.
Trinidad is more for carnival. That's where I want to go.
But
anyway, come on. You
go ahead.
Off topic.
Okay. I like it. Go ahead.
All right, so we're gonna pick one place. Okay, Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I would love to go to Hawaii. I think a night on a beach, like a personal dinner between us. And then after that, like maybe like a spa, session where we get like massages, facials, things like that.
So back when we were dating, and for our first date, I asked you, for our first date, I want to take a trip out the country. Our first date. So by that time, we talking for some weeks, maybe, you know what I'm saying, at the most. And I asked you on a date out the country. What would you have said?
No, first of all, because I don't know you.
So this your dream date, but
we're married.
Dubbed it.
If you could plan a dream date night, what would it involve? So planning is
all right. Yeah, I'll look at it.
I like how you messing up my question.
That'd be fire if you say, yeah.
I'm
what?
Feeling my slapping fingers. But we're talking about planning trip to Hawaii. I hope you taking notes. Trip to Hawaii, dinner on the beach, spa session, and massage, facial, all that. And then after that, X-rated.
Okay, moving
along.
Yo, that's why we got 4 kids now.
Yeah, it's mainly your fault though. Make sure you.
Hey, come on, man. Come on, son.
Okay, all right. My turn. This is a good one. What is your favorite thing that I do for you?
You don't know the answer. This is my answer.
I know the answer. My answer.
The favorite thing that you do
First
for
of all,
me
Kyra, stop.
or do to me.
First of all, my mom and my dad watching this.
Hey, we 8 years in the game, baby. What is my favorite thing that you do for me? How you support me in my dreams. Like, and I really mean that, like how you support me. Again, we could just use our business. You know what I mean? It's more than just my business. It's our business. And when I came to you,
1 second, y'all heard what he said, right? When y'all see Ashford Films, and when y'all see me,
oh my God,
I'm Ashford Films. Put some respect on my name, all right? All right, go ahead.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard the boss. But no, seriously, when I came to you with the idea of what I wanted to do in regards to filmmaking and recording and all that good stuff, the first thing you told me was, do it. Just don't waste his family time. Don't waste our time. And at first it was stung like, that wasn't romantic. Well, why she said that? Why she said it like that? Don't waste. Ain't nobody try to. I know not to waste your time. But what she was saying in essence is like, if I'm gonna do it, go hard. Mm-hmm. Go hard. And we're not looking back. Like, we're gonna go full throttle. So here we are, 7 years in?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
8.
And it's 8 business wise?
Oh,
yeah, business wise. And it's been nonstop. So, how you support my dreams. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Boom, 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 boom. It says, what is your favorite thing about our relationship? I'm gonna say, what is your favorite thing about our marriage?
I love the fact, and I think relationship is appropriate too.
Cool.
Because relationship, it doesn't necessarily have to be a title, like our relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That just marriage sound better.
Yeah, but I mean, because marriage is
8 years,
it's a
baby.
broad category.
Nah,
relationship is more personal, like our personal relationship with each other.
Yeah.
Without the marriage title, I think I like the. I just seen a bunny. Scared me.
Whole bunnies right there.
I think one of my most favorite things is we have so much in common.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a lot in common, and I think that for me, you know, because I always felt set apart, I always felt different, you know, to meet somebody who we have so much in common. Like we're both goofy. If you know me and you know him, you know we goofy. Us together, it's intensified, it's magnified. Like this just a preview of goofiness that y'all seeing right now. As we continue to do this podcast, y'all really gonna see more. But you know, I love that, you know, we both love reggae music. We both love, you know, dance hall. You know, we like you know, just the type of music we like. You know, we both are like, we're weird, like we're right around listening to Dominican music, and we don't speak a lick of the language, but we riding around bumping to it like, hey,
hola, ¿cómo estás mañana?
Yeah. So that's my favorite. You learned that when you was in Dominican?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I know.
So I think that, to answer the question finally, I feel like what our commonalities, like the things we have in common.
It's a big word. It's a real big word.
I'm
gonna put that in the edits.
First of all,
commonalities.
You gotta forgive me because my brain,
yeah, you
it goes there.
We all know you got your masters.
First of all,
big masters.
Big dog, not the little one. All right.
You got to get back on track.
Because I was answering the question.
You was. That's my fault.
So, yeah, my favorite thing about our relationship is the things that we have in common.
Yeah, that's dope. Reggae and Dipset.
Oh, yeah, Dipset.
Dipset. You feel me?
Oh, my God. You should interject a little picture of me when I used to wear the fitted in here.
I will. You got one of the pictures? I will do it. Let me skip around. Oh, it's my turn?
Mm-hmm. No. It's my turn.
Oh, ooh. All right, go ahead.
When did you know you wanted to marry me?
That's why I thought it was my turn. I was about to ask you that.
Question for you.
When did I know I wanted to marry you? Oh,
now this the one you got to be honest with this one now, because we had some pressure too.
Yeah, it was pressure. When did I know? When I knew I wanted to marry you when you started to show me what true love really, really looked like. Mm-hmm. When you started loving me more than I loved myself, and I seen it in action, despite all we, were going through, like the type of love you were showing me, others would have thought you was crazy. Mm-hmm. Others would have thought you was stupid. You know what I'm saying? People would have thought like, yeah, you tripping. Like he doing this, he moving like that. But you still were looking at the diamond in me versus what you kept seeing on the outside. The man you're with right now, you saw that in me 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So you saw that in me when we met. You feel me? But so when it really dawned on me, like you are the woman that I would tell myself I could never have because I was so down on myself. When I started to see you were the total opposite of what I was saying to myself, I'm like, what? Like this, the one I need for me is here in front of my face. Oh, it's over. Hey, yo, Rel, Steve, Turbo. Yeah, your boy getting married. You know what I'm saying? And at first, you go through all the, well, are you sure? But I knew what I wanted. And what I wanted was you. And here we are, 8 years later, Yeah, your boy did that. I don't know. I wasn't sure about that question. I was like, but I had to get in my bag real quick.
You gotta really sometimes think. It's 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
all right. That was a good one. What do you think makes? Wow, this is a real good one for you. What do you think makes us a strong couple?
What I think makes us a strong couple is our faith in the Most High.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
That wasn't a hard one at all.
Absolutely.
I think that makes us strong because we're able to deal with all kind of tests and trials that come with marriage. Because I know, most people think it's this fairy tale thing and everybody like, oh, I can't wait till I get married and, it's blissful and all this and that. But honey, let me tell you something. When you are a believer and you are doing this, and you're trying to be in alignment with God's will, the enemy is going to do everything he can to try to destroy your marriage. And I mean everything. Nothing is off limits. Okay. And I'm just, condensing it, but nothing is off limits. And I think when you have God as your source and you keep him first, that is what makes your marriage strong. That's what keeps it strengthened. You know how to take these attacks head on and you know how to navigate through them. You know how to move with discernment so you make good decisions, and you know how to reconcile. That's the biggest piece that marriages have a tough time doing, is reconciling. And I'm not saying you should try to reconcile if you're being abused, but I think when it can be fixed, we should try to fix it. And usually, and I'm just gonna speak for us, the only way we've been able to reconcile very difficult things is through our relationship with the Most High, and having faith in him, and that he is going to work through one another, so that way we can be who we need to be to each other in our marriage.
There you have it, folks. I mean, drops the mic. Nah, you killed that, baby.
I dropped some gems for y'all people who are thinking about getting married or just got married. Keep God first.
Yeah.
Sounds simple, sound cliche, but...
And that's what I need to touch on. This ain't no... When we say keep God first, we mean literally. Okay, so you're asking, what does that look like if we're saying literally? That means... keep God first in your finances, in your interests, your relationship, your schedule, your time, right? I said that right?
Or when trouble comes.
In trouble, or T for trouble when trouble comes. That means it's going to start up here. You have to make a concrete decision to go against how you feel. Whether it be in a situation like, say there's trouble, say there's a situation going on. You know how you want to react to it. You know what you would do about it. Say it got something to do with just trouble in your marriage, and you beefing with your husband or your wife. You want to react the way you want to react, and 9 times out of 10, it's not going to solve anything. Not going to, and it's not. Literally, what it means to put God first is, you know what? I have to die to how I feel. I have to sacrifice my feelings and do what I know is right. So if my husband is right, if my wife is right, do you know what? Let me not go back and forth because pride don't kicked in, and now I gotta voice how I feel, and now we're gonna go back and forth because I don't like feeling like I'm being punked, because deep down I know they right, but my pride won't let me admit it. Let me submit. That honors God, submitting to one another. Now, that's a whole nother subject, because everybody nowadays got their own definition of what submission means. That's why they got problems with submitting. No, literally, submit to one another. That honors God. That's keeping them first. And that's just a small example. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And I just also want to add, knowing the 3 things that are always going to be your issue in life, not just in marriage, but just in life in general. From a fleshly standpoint, it's the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. Those are the 3 things that trip us up every single time. And when you're married, those 3 things, they intensify because you want to be right. You don't want to be wrong.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's just that fleshly nature of us as humans. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not, to say we're bad people for that. It's just to say that that's a reminder that thorn in our side is for us to remember that God is important in every aspect. And keeping him first, it just helps us to be able to see where we're operating in those areas. Like I can say, okay, that was a lust move, that was a flesh move, that was a pride move, and then be able to say, okay, God, I need you to help me with my spirit, man. So I'm not operating in these different spirits or these different issues or whatever you want to call it, but to make sure I'm not operating in these places so I can be a better spouse. Ooh, what is something I can do differently to improve our relationship? Here's your chance.
Yeah.
Nah, but what is something you can do to improve our relationship, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
Just think of one. I'm pretty sure you have a bucket list.
A bucket list. One of them big buckets too.
Yeah.
Nah,
right.
But no, seriously.
Just slow down there, partner. Slow down.
Nah, but what's one thing you could do? I mean, you cook a little bit more. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Almost
just
flip
playing.
on this podcast equipment. That service was gonna be removed off his list because I was finna flip everything, including the owner of Ashford Films.
Yo,
he just triggered me.
That's a quick little clickbait, you know what I'm saying, to draw people in. I'm just playing. I eat very, very well,
as you can see.
Yeah, I mean, your boy eat real good. But no, just continue to be patient with me. We always talk about this, like, we'll never be perfect, right? So that means as long as I believe that as long as you're not perfect, there's always room to grow. You'll never reach that perfect spot, whatever that looks like. So, just keep working on different areas in your life to, help you improve. But in the midst of that, patience is needed, because in a marriage, while I'm trying to grow in all these different areas, in order for you to see the results of it, your part in it is just now. That does not mean to tolerate. That doesn't mean to tolerate certain areas of your life as a man until you decide to snap out of it.
Right.
I'll leave it at that. Right. So where I get confused with that is, first of all, there's no confusion, like, tighten up, do what you're supposed to do. But sometimes where my mind goes is, okay, if I'm not perfect and I need you to be patient in these areas while I get it under control, then, but if there's no tolerance in that area as well, what does that look like? Be patient with me, but you have no tolerance. That's oil and water, or at least it sounds like it is. You know what I mean? Maybe you can answer that. Like, that's just sometimes where my mind goes.
So I think when we were talking about patience, patience is one of the fruits of the spirit. And I can't quote them all off the top of my head right now, but I do know that that's one of them. But I think when we look at it from a biblical perspective, because we got to remember, if I'm keeping God first, Lord, if I'm keeping God first, I'm literally thinking, how would God want me to move? How would he want me to handle this situation? And although my flesh might not have tolerance for that particular thing that he may struggle with, God is saying, not even just that you got to operate in the fruit of the spirit, but love. His definition of love is patient. And so I could be in my flesh ready to walk away from you because you are getting on every nerve I got in my body, and we got a ton of them. But God is like, no, he is still a person, a man with flesh that every day he's gonna fall short, whether you like it or not. But when you married him, you signed up for everything that came with him. So sickness can look like so many different things. You know, wealth and poor and all that can look like so many different things. But my role is not just to be patient with you, but to learn how to be patient with you. Because, you know, we're not taught to be patient that much in our life. You know, even as kids, sometimes when we want something, parents like, here you go, just to shut you up. So we don't really learn what the real definition of patience is. And I don't think you really learn it until you get married, because it requires a different level of patience. It requires the God kind of patience, the same patience that he has with us. You know, the patience that he has with us in the sense of, all right, you know, Kyra and Ashley, you had another day where you done did something stupid, but I forgive you. I love you. I'm still, you know, I still got you. That's the type of patience that I strive to have with my husband. And don't get me twisted, I'm not perfect. You know how many times I fall short in that area?
Because your boy need patience for it too. Yes, Lord.
You know how many times I fall short in that area, but at the end of the day, I have to remember that I'm still not perfect. And so that's not an excuse to behave poorly. It's just a reminder that I have work to do every day. And I think that, you know, when we give that to each other, that grace, that you know, that room for error, I think it helps us to be able to grow better, and also being able to receive it. You know, when you say I'm doing something, like even just now, you know, hearing that, not saying that you said I don't have patience, you said continue to, but even just hearing something like that, I receive that, because that's something that I do struggle with. But I think overall I do try my best to make sure that I'm leading in those, you know, from that aspect, between love and the fruit of the spirit. And so again, you know, I think this season, it really just been about enhancing the love we have for each other, but really also leading with the fruit of the spirit with each other. And that's, you know, yeah. So that was a good question.
Great answer.
That was a good question.
Great job.
Okay.
Do you feel like our communication is good, or do we need to work on communicating better with each other?
Funny.
Yeah. What does...
So first of all, I'm laughing at this question because I think one of our biggest issues right now, and this is just, you know, just transparency, is communication.
Okay. Everybody go through it.
We have different communication styles, and we definitely are working on that. You know, we do see a therapist, and I encourage anybody who's married that's having issues to see one. And sometimes if you ain't having issues, it's just good to have one. You know, so you can learn how to work through things that might come up. But communication definitely needs to be worked on, mainly because we're 8 years in and we're two totally different people than how we started. And so communication styles change. Excuse me. Communication styles change. I feel like my first year of marriage, I did some work with Cake Chronicles, Miss Debbie.
Mama D. Mama D.
And she really helped me to see myself in the communication style that I had, and also for me to be able to see how Kyron communicates. And knowing that, you know, he communicates, you know, totally different than me, it helps me to see the areas that I need to work on, so I can not necessarily bow to his communication style, but know how to communicate with him based off of how he communicates, in other words. And so you know, knowing, for example, if someone is passive, you know, making sure that, you know, I'm modifying my communication style so I'm not being aggressive to someone who's gonna like not, you know, fight back. And I think for me, that was my communication style. I was very aggressive. Like, I was the kitchen sink person. I'm bringing up everything known to the mankind that you done did, said. I'm throwing it in your face. I'm ready to fight. That was my mentality. And I came from situations where I had to be like that. So meeting someone who was passive, didn't want to argue, didn't want conflict or confrontation. It made me mad. It made me even more angry. Like, why aren't you saying anything?
Yeah.
You're so used to somebody saying something back and fighting. And I'm not saying that passive is good either.
Right.
Because sometimes when you're passive, you don't say anything and then it boils over. It, turns into passive aggressive. So now it comes out rude or it comes out disrespectful or whatever the case may be. But I felt like in the beginning, it was horrible. I was the bully, in other words. And Kyron's not that type of person you have to be like that with. But that's just an example. And I did work and I've learned to communicate with him based off of where he was at. Now, 8 years later, there's still that passive thing. But I think ultimately you're working on learning not to be passive. But now we're into the aggressive stage. So sometimes when he communicates, it come out crazy and I be ready to but I have to remember
on side. What's up? What happened?
I remember that was me.
Yeah.
And so I had to remember you making me mad. So I have to remember that I've been there before and I have to give grace to that. So yeah.
Nah, for real. But real quick to back up and to add to what you said in regards of me being passive at times, because that's definitely something that I've been working on very hard. Where that comes from, where that came from is my lifestyle growing up. When I was young, family of 5. I know I had the utmost respect for my parents and my household. It is what it is. But because of the respect I had for my parents, especially my mother, even if she was wrong, I wouldn't say nothing. You know what I mean? It could be something real small. If she was just wrong about a small little detail about whatever, I wouldn't say nothing. And because I didn't want to disrespect my elders, I didn't want to disrespect my father or anybody. But what happened is, now I'm older, I still move like that. So as I got older, especially like in my late teens and 20s, when it came down to situations, rather be outside or wherever, basketball court or whatever, I'm saying, I'll be like, I'm good, I'm chilling, because I didn't do well with confrontation. I didn't do well with conflict. You know what I mean? Like, I would have thought that would have stopped with my parents, but it carried over into my, we're gonna stop the tape real quick. You good? Something flew in your shirt? I'm putting that in there too. She's like, start with Macarena.
What?
There you go. That's better. Bring your chain out, at least up front.
Violated me like that, man.
That's funny. But yeah, so growing up in my household, I had trouble dealing with conflict. Now that I cross over into my adulthood, and I handle it better, but I still have issues with handling things on site. And it don't mean I gotta knuck if you buck, I'm saying, right with you right then and there, but protect and speak up for myself. You know what I mean? So now in a marriage, when we have a disagreement, the first thing in my, and I hate that this is embedded in my mind. My uncle was like, I ain't gonna put out which uncle it was, but my uncle growing up, he was like, happy wife, happy life. And that was stamped in my mind, growing up. And what that means to me is, if rather you're right or wrong, there's nothing to say. You're right. When you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're right. But what happens is that shuts down a man in regards of him communicating with you, about whatever situation is going on. So now he's just letting it roll off his shoulder, but what he's really doing is bottling it up. He's bottling it up. And now it's hard to communicate with you because we don't want to sound like we the one crying, but then we don't want to sound like, we don't want to misdirect our communication either. So now we don't let it build up. Now we blowing up, and now we in a worse situation than we was before. Because I'm trying to make sure I don't start nothing with you, and make sure you good, and you just let whatever you got to say fly, and I'm just you got it, like we got to communicate. But now coming to a balance on understanding how I communicate, and me learning that from you as well is what's key. So
I'm really glad you touched on that, and this is just a little side note, because one of my things that I'm focused on, choicey with my words right now. One of the things that I'm working on, or I'm focused on in my educational journey, is mental health. And, you know, as far as like African American men, how they're impacted by so many things that deal with mental health. And this is a prime example that you just gave. You know, just the whole communication piece, which, you know, is also could also be we could also say terminology, interpersonal effectiveness skills, which we lack completely in our adult life. Unless you was taught by the best of the best as a child, you will find that you have some type of issue with relationships and communicating with people. But usually if you can trace it, it always goes back to childhood. And it's not the down talk a parent or anything like that, because I was grown up in an environment where I was taught to be that way, and that was how we communicated with each other. And sometimes I took it too far and got my behind flipped upside down. But you was gonna hear how I felt, like regardless of what the consequences was. You was gonna know how I felt. I didn't care how it came out. I didn't care if it was disrespectful. And it took me a very long time to get out of that mindset. It took me up until literally probably when I had my son, and I will say he was about 2 or 3 when I really started to transition in, you know, my mindset and just kind of how I talk to people. But you know, I think overall it's important for us to be able to go back to where it started, the root of it. And so now, you know, I'm very mindful of how I communicate, even with my mom. Like I've been, you know, I'm more softer with, I communicate with her. I'm not confrontational. I'm more respectful. And, you know, it took years for that. And some people, and to be honest, that's a curse, and some people cannot break it. Some relationships with parents are just done. But I think that, excuse me, in a marriage, especially when dealing with a man, you know, there's a little bit more grace that I think is supposed to be given, because they are the population that, you know, it's stigmatized for you to express how you feel. It's soft, it's weak, it's not manly. And I think that is another thing that limits the voices, especially of African American men. And I'm passionate not just because, you know, the sky is blue. I have sons, and they are going to grow up and become men, and they're going to have to know it's okay to speak up. You don't got to be rude. You don't got to be disrespectful, but it's okay to speak up. They can take this in their marriage and whatever, you know, career, whatever thing they do in the future. But I just wanted to point out, I appreciate you sharing that. That was deep. You know what I mean? We're talking about a deep topic right now.
Yeah, no.
How do you feel when we argue or disagree with each other? Does it make you feel uncomfortable, or do you feel like it's healthy for us to express our differing opinions to each other openly and honestly?
When we're arguing, it
says, how do you feel when we argue or disagree with each other? Does it make you uncomfortable? Do you feel like it's healthy for us to express our differing opinions to each other openly and honestly?
When we have a high level, when we're arguing and we have a high level disagreement, yeah, it's uncomfortable, because, you know, I function better when we're on the same page. I'm productive, I'm lit, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to, tackle today's agenda, whatever it is. So, when we're not on the same page, it's like, depending on the situation, whatever we're going at it about, it's like, what are we doing? What's going on? Where are we going? You know what I mean? Because if we can't be each other's teammate, how are we going to win these games? How are we going to win the game of life every single day? You know what I mean? And I understand in marriage that, every day is not going to be perfect. I feel like a key to marriage is, all about how you handle these disagreements, because those moments are going to make you stronger. You learn something new about each other every time you handle it the right way. The minute we get into our flesh, we want to, it's like, nah, hold up. Like we still do. And, I definitely believe we need to pick it up even more when we have a disagreement and it's getting ready to go left in that direction, we used to stop, pray, and then you say yes, peace. I always let you go first, let you get it all out. If I gotta stand there and cover my mouth like this just to make sure I don't say anything, that's my way of making sure I don't cut you off or start up another argument because you said something I disagree with. I'm gonna express yourself, and you'll do the same for me. And then we'll have a dialogue. Now that we gave each other the floor and the opportunity to say whatever it is, we don't violate each other, but we allow each other to communicate. So, yeah, again, it can be uncomfortable, but how we handle it is the key.
Do you think it's healthy?
Do I think it's healthy?
Do
I don't think there's a straightforward
express, our different.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because again, if I'm not allowed an opportunity to express how I feel, I'm gonna go into my happy wife, happy life mindset where I don't express how I feel and I just cater to what you believe, how you feel, what you want, what you need. You know what I mean? What about the husband? And society has taught us because you're a man, you're supposed to you don't have no feelings. Just deal with it. We married each other for a reason because we felt a way about each other. So we're going to take on everything that came with this. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So yes, it's healthy. And again, that filters back to how, is dealt with because, one thing with me, don't make me feel like I'm not heard.
Right.
Do not make me feel like I'm not heard because now we're going to go left because I'm trying to express myself. I have a hard time growing up. I didn't want to express myself because I was so worried about how other people are going to react, how other people feel, and already thinking of the outcome based off of how I feel or what I want to say. Now I try and make myself express myself, not try and violate or, go too far. But if I'm doing that and I'm trying to overcome how I used to move and I'm not being allowed the opportunity to have the floor, what's up? You know what I mean? Now we on 10, you know what I mean? And no, we have never put our hands on each other, nothing like that. But I don't even want to feel like I'm getting violent. I'm being real. I don't even want to feel like that. So let me speak. If I'm right or wrong, I got to get this out because I know it's over if I don't say anything and I let it build up. You know what I mean? So, yes, it's healthy as long as we allow each other to have the floor.
Yeah. And I hear you receive what you're saying as well. But for the people watching, I want to, just define argument. It's an exchange of diversing or opposite views, typically a heated or angry one. And I think that, in relationships or marriage, you should embrace those arguments. Know when it's getting heated and you got to walk away. That's the first thing because, it can be an angry argument. But I think that allows the opportunity for things to come up that need to be addressed. And I think that if you're always working towards reconciliation and peace, that you can hear that other person's argument or their view and take it and be like, okay, you know what? I see how that made you feel. I understand that I did that particular thing and how it made you feel. And another topic that we'll talk about in the future is, arguments with friendships. I think that's a big one that need to be discussed. But, in a marriage, you can't just throw away your marriage. So you got to work through those disagreements. You got to work through those arguments. And also learning that it's okay to agree to disagree. You may be strong in how you feel about whatever your view is, and I just may not agree with it at all. I don't care how many times I've sat down, processed it, I still don't agree with it. And then one thing that I learned best from my pastor was when you have an argument with your spouse and y'all can't come to an agreement, agree to disagree, set that topic on the shelf, and if it's worth coming back to later, you pick it back up and address it. Right. And what you'll find is some of that stuff stay on the shelf because it really just be us in the moment just absolutely refusing to try to see it from the other person's perspective and really being so on how we view and see things. And as doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah.
It just makes it one of those things like, I'm tripping, you tripping, let's move on.
Yeah.
You feel how you feel, I feel how I feel. Let's respect each other where we are and our feelings on that topic, and then prayerfully God will intervene and soften our heart if it's necessary.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
You know,
that's good.
I encourage anybody that's watching, you know, if you're married, newly married, thinking about getting married, get you a therapist. Yes, keep God first and get you a therapist, because there are certain things that therapy can do to strengthen your marriage, along with God as the source. Because remember, he is the source. Therapy is the resource. And I just want to make that crystal clear. And I'm a whole therapist, and I'm saying that I do not put nothing before my Father. And that's even my education. When I go into these classrooms and these settings, they know off the top that God is my source and everything. And that is my foundation. So, and those who are watching, you know, if you believe, keep God first. And if you don't, I encourage you to get a relationship with the Most High, because he is amazing. But, you know, also get a therapist, especially for people entering into marriage. Premarital counseling, it will save you a headache, because sometimes we jump into marriages and we don't even know who we're dealing with. We don't find out until we get into marriage, and now we're in it and we're trying to navigate through stuff, which is even more difficult. I think knowing up front helps us to be able to see those things that come up, and now we got that foundation, like, oh, okay, I remember in premarital counseling we talked about that, we covered this skill, we did that, let me apply it here because I have the knowledge of it. Whereas for some of us, we don't have the knowledge of it until we get in a marriage. So that's just my little piece. I really enjoyed doing this podcast.
Nah, that's dope.
This was dope.
This was much better than, I mean, I knew it was going to be good. You know, we was definitely going to, you know, bring the content, but I think it was good for us.
Yeah.
You know, on a communicative level.
Yeah.
That's a word? Communicative? Oh, I'm nice with it. What's that word you said I was going to put in the commutatively? Something like that? I don't know. I'll rewind.
You don't remember.
And bring it. But anyway, no, this was dope. For, you know, just what we're trying to do with our business. You looking to have your own podcast show? Log on to ashfordfilms.com. Book us ASAP. We will bring this entire setup, including, I got a plug for you to have a backdrop, your own backdrop to start your show. Multiple cameras, mics, headphones, the whole works. Professional quality equipment. Bring it right to you to get your own show popping. But as far as me and my wife, we always wanted to do something like this just to have some fun with it, you know, promo our business, but definitely, you know, to help build us up, you know, in a whole nother lane. Because even within this, I learned, you know, a couple new things about you. And it's like, oh, you know, it just reminds you that in a marriage, you're always going to know something new and learn something new. Yeah. You know, we're only 8 years in the game. You know what I memean? Wait till 18, wait till 28, wait till 58. You know what I mean? Because she ain't going nowhere.
And he ain't either.
She ain't going nowhere.
When we took vows and it said, to death do us part.
Yeah, that part, I was like,
I took that part real serious. I was like, oh, to death.
I was like, to death? Oh, I don't know. Nah.
So, just as a little disclaimer for those who think they gonna sabotage covenants, I hope y'all know that thing say to death.
Time to go. Y'all have a good night.
Nah, but on some real though, like, I just really want y'all to log on to www.ashfordfilms.com.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to the wifey because she did the website.
Yeah,
so if
yeah,
you
she
need
did.
a little website, I can help you out for a starter
she
one.
did that.
But anyways, no, definitely book with Ashford Films. Like he said, we got the equipment. We bring it to you. We provide the service. All of the information is on his website. Don't forget to follow him on social media, like, share, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can find him under Ashford Films. And
yeah,
I feel like that's it.
that's
right?
it. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.
Good job, babe. Hi, gonna show my handshake. No, see, you messed up. It's boom, 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 pinky, boom, boom, boom. Stop acting silly.
He making me mad.